For inverse cotangent, again, I'm going to refer to the graph of the cotangent, and I'm going to sketch the part that we're using. The part we're using for inverse cotangent just goes between 0 and pi, and I know cotangent is a decreasing function. That's how I differentiate between the two. So if this is cotangent x, let's see, the domain for this is 0 to pi, so that's going to be the range for the inverse. The range for this is negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2. I'm sorry, negative infinity to positive infinity. So that's going to be the domain for my inverse. I'm going to write some limit statements over here. I know the limit as x approaches pi from the left for cotangent x is negative infinity. I know the limit as x approaches 0 from the right for cotangent is positive infinity. So I'm going to change this around, which will help me graph cotangent. In this case, x is going to be approaching negative infinity, and the function is going to approach pi from the left. For my other, x is going to be approaching positive infinity, and y is going to be approaching 0 from the right. So this gives me information about the horizontal asymptotes, one at 0 and one at pi. I know this is the ordered pair, pi over 2, 0, so I'm going to have 0, pi over 2. I know as x goes to the right, this is going to get very close to 0. As x goes to the left, this is going to get very close to pi, but it'll just be a little bit beneath it. So there's the graph of inverse cotangent. So again, if I'm asking you for the inverse cotangent of 1, an inverse cotangent is defined, or our range is in those two quadrants. So if I ask you for arc cotangent of 1, well, I know that's pi over 4. But if I ask you for the inverse cotangent of negative 1, that's got to be in this quadrant, so 3 pi over 4. If you ask you for the angle whose cotangent is 1 over root 3, I know that's pi over 3. But if we have negative 1 over root 3, we need the supplement, 2 pi over 3. The angle whose cotangent is root 3 is pi over 6, but this is going to be 5 pi over 6. The angle whose cotangent is 0 is pi over 2. We talked about that. The angle and the limit as x approaches infinity, this is going to give us 0. The limit of the function as x approaches negative infinity is pi. And there is no symmetry to inverse cosine.